Gonna be honest, don't really know what I'm doing.
He was often a player that I would buy on Football Manager.
It's already a terrible reason.
From Jon Snow, Matt puts Dan's wardrobe to shame.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Look at him, the cat that got the cream.
Ian Taylor said it was the worst thing he'd ever seen in his life.
My theory on referees is you give them the nicest changing room in the stadium.
It's just the most bizarre thing I've ever
Hear me out.
I cannot believe Gabriel Bonner-Horst.
That's crazy,
That's
isn't
terrible. Yeah, we may well have lost listeners early doors again with a long-winded intro. Go, shoot. Hello, welcome back to the Villa View podcast, episode number 5, we think, season 2. We're not 100% sure how many we've done so far this season. Tom Julian to my right and myself, Dan Bardell, here for the next hour or so to talk you through all things Villa. Tom, how are you?
I'm tired.
Yeah, it took you a long time to get here tonight, hasn't it?
Yeah. Long travel, but got my mug, got my brew, and we've got football back.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, we have. Exciting.
You know, and Villa start the season off with a win. That's nice, isn't it?
I know, yes. To be honest, I did not expect that at all. I did not expect to be sat here today talking about 3 points for some reason. I was quite negative.
Yeah.
Going into the start of the season, a bit of a negative Nelly.
A little peek behind the curtain. We have a Villa View WhatsApp group.
Oh, we're coming on to that, believe me.
And that will be mentioned a few times tonight. But there was a lot of negativity. A lot of the word dread used ahead of last night's game.
We're going to come on and completely slate Dolan for some of the stuff he said in the chat last night. But for someone that predicts us to finish top of the league, when a game comes round, he's very negative about the game, isn't he? Every time.
He gets very worried, very anxious, doesn't he?
Why does he then say, we're going to win the league when we do prediction shows?
6 wins out of 6.
Yeah,
he's a mystery.
He's a Jekyll and Hyde character.
Yeah.
He really is.
That is how you should describe him. So, a 3-1 victory at the KCOM last night. Hull City 1, Aston Villa 3. And, I mean, the scoreline kind of... it doesn't tell the whole story last night, does it?
I think, no. I mean, it looked like it was just going to be a 1-1 draw. I mean, before we brought Andre Green on, I've got to admit, I was sitting there and our WhatsApp group was bringing me more entertainment than the game. I actually found I got a bit distracted by the WhatsApp game.
Yeah.
Last night, it was taking away from watching. We can't do that again.
I agree,
as much as it's given some absolute gold from Dolan, I don't think we can do that again because I was losing concentration of what was going on.
I was sitting in a local pub, which is not a nice pub, almost literally on my own. There wasn't many people in there. But yeah, I kept checking my phone because it kept buzzing next to me. And yeah, you're right. It took away from the game a little bit. But I think maybe that reflects the quality of the game, maybe more than the chat of the group.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't exactly on the edge of my seat. I mean, obviously we've got 3 points. I'm absolutely delighted by that, but there was some turgid football on show from both sides. It wasn't a good game for the neutral, even though there was goals in it. If that makes sense.
Well, it all happened, didn't it, so fast? You know, we have a 15-20 minute flurry of a couple of goals, a couple of saves by Jed Steer. There's a bit of action either way, but the rest of the game was so drab. The quality of passing from both sides was horrendous, really.
We were better second half with that kind of thing.
Yes,
we were better when Andre Green came on. Actually,
well, let's start with the Evandro goal. And I mean, what's your take on it? Should we be doing better? Should Elphick be doing better?
I don't know whether Elphick should be doing better. It was just it felt like just a typical Villa goal to concede.
First goal of the season.
Yeah, early doors in the game. Like Bruce has said to them, just keep it tight first 10 minutes, lads. And it was a bit of a needless free kick, if I recall.
Agreed.
The Kaja gave away, and I mean, he frustrated me very much so.
That won't be the last you hear of Kaja tonight.
No. And then I think Jed Steer does his part relatively well. He's come and the commentator said he was positive. He's got a decent punch on it. And there's no Villa player anywhere near the guy on the edge of the area, and he kind of hopefully goes to put it back in the box. If he'd had a shot, he wouldn't have scored.
Yeah, agreed.
But he hopefully tries to lift it back into a dangerous area. And there's no Villa players closing down. There's no Villa players in the place where the ball ends up.
Yeah.
Either an Elphick kind of like scurries along to try and get there and then gets caught between whether he should try and handball it or and then I don't think he was ever going to get it with his feet or with his head, and it was quite comical.
It did.
I found it quite comical.
It looked gangly, didn't it?
It was a clumsy goal.
Do you think Jed Steer should have done better in terms of reacting? You know, I mean, it will come with experience a little bit, but do you think that's been harsh on Steer?
I've got to admit, I kind of lost him after he came out and punched. I don't know where. I couldn't tell you where he was.
I think he was on the floor for a fair while.
I think he's done his bit. if the ball's come in, I think someone should be closing down the edge of the area. Because I would have presumed, I mean, I've not looked at it back. I would presume we should have had someone on the edge of the area. You usually do when you're defending a set piece.
Yeah.
I presume you would have someone in the vicinity of the 6-yard box, but it just seems like everyone stopped.
Yeah.
And he just looped it back in and it went in.
That's kind of what I mean about steer. Often we talk about players, not just Villa, but ball watching, and that being a critical error, especially at this level where you've got to react first all the time. It kind of felt to me like he was just a little bit off the pace. Maybe lack of match practice, real match practice I'm talking about, not just pre-season and that kind of thing, but maybe a lesson learned. I don't know, maybe that's being harsh.
I think that's harsh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't lay any blame at Jed Steer's door.
Well, as a quality goalkeeper yourself, you would know.
I mean, I know all about making mistakes.
Yeah, that's true.
And when you should get the blame. But what I will say for him is that, speaking from, obviously I've not played at any kind of high level, speaking from experience, if I ever let in a goal early, or even if I didn't think it was my fault but felt that someone might say it was my fault, it really would affect me, and I'd feel like I was about to make another mistake. But I think his recovery was quite good because he made some good saves.
Yeah, in both halves actually. There was one in the first half where he came out and closed the striker down very, very well, and that looked great. That reminded me a little bit of Johnston, the way that Johnston does that. So they're obviously working on that kind of thing in training. Let's talk about the Elphick header, and less maybe about the header and more about the abysmal marking again that we saw from Hull City.
Terrible from Hull. I mean, Nigel Atkins will be tearing his hair out because, again, you've scored. Just keep it. Sorry for Tom's tummy.
Is that the second week in a row?
It's definitely happened a couple of times this season 2 already.
Go on.
But yeah, he'd have been thinking, just keep it tight, lads.
Yeah.
Keep it tight for 10 minutes. You've gone one up, and then to concede straight away from a set piece and one of the centre halves isn't marked. He'd be disappointed with that.
Yeah.
It's like a completely free header into the bottom corner.
And somebody pointed this out on Twitter. Elphick didn't really celebrate because I think he was just kind of shocked at one playing, 2 scoring, and 3 the ease with which he had to head that ball.
I mean, that must have been his first goal for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet so. He's probably forgotten what to do.
Yeah.
When you score, and so he's not got much experience in the old celebration. I think maybe it was just he realised we'd gone one down sloppily early. We'd scored, and he just wanted to go again.
Yeah.
And get us going again. I think, considering he used to come up before the game, and I don't know whether he did last night. I would presume not. He used to do that headbutting of the post and really G up the fans, and then he just stopped doing it one day.
A concussion, probably.
Yeah, I mean, it was a strange thing to be doing, to be honest. But yeah. But good. Obviously, it's a simple header, but
you got to be there.
Took it well. You got to be there. Yeah.
Got to buy a ticket to win the raffle.
Exactly, Tom.
As Andy Gray once said on FIFA.
Did I think
that was a FIFA.
Early FIFA. That
a set FIFA.
I know he was in FIFA for a while, actually, wasn't he?
Yeah. The rest of the first half turned into a bit of a nothing.
Bit of a slugfest.
It wasn't even that, was it? Like it kind of felt weird because both teams went up each end, and yet there was absolutely no end product.
There was a severe lack of quality.
Yeah,
especially in that first half. I think we were trying to make things happen. I think it's a different side from last. Although a lot of it felt the same. For the core 11, it wasn't the same 11 from last season. So obviously Al Mohammadi was playing right midfield instead of right back, whereas usually he's playing right back and Snodgrass is in front of him. There was just little differences, and it was noticeable that we were missing a couple of people from last season. I thought Hudson was obviously playing on the right instead of the left, whereas he played most of the season at left back last season. Different goalkeeper. It felt very mishmash. It feels like when the window's still open, I think it always feels like that at the start of the season, like the squad's not complete, and it's almost like there's an excuse if things don't go well.
Well, that excuse is the key word there, because I think Bruce used the full extent of the window last year to chop and change the squad, and we had a few people come in. Obviously, the window's been brought forward this year, but I kind of still expected us to have our business almost done, and maybe that's unfair because
that is unfair.
We were so blindsided by the complete lack of knowing what was going on.
Also, we were under transfer embargo.
Well, soft.
I imagine that affects you. Like, I imagine we wanted. Like, apparently the Twanzebe deal had been in place for ages, ready to go, but we just couldn't do it. And then he was on tour in America, so we've ended up doing it at the earliest opportunity. But it was probably in place a month ago.
Right.
So I think there's excuses this year, but with the loan window staying open until the end of August, we're probably again waiting till the end of August to know our complete squad, although we've spent some money today, albeit undisclosed.
Yeah, we'll get onto that after the game. Let's talk about Jonathan Kaja a little bit, because he was the subject of a lot of frustration, not only in our WhatsApp group, but across Twitter as well. James Villaminium is his name on Twitter, his handle, asked if we should persist with Kaja or give opportunity to Hepburn Murphy and Andre Green. Chris Pope and Niall Simpson also frustrated by Kaja. Now, we talked about a lot of wasted chances and poor passing. Kaja was in the middle of a lot of that last night.
Yeah, there was one where I lost it with him a little bit, where he should have passed it to El Mohammadi, and he then took a real tame, weak shot on his left foot. I can't even remember if it trickled wide or it trickled into the goalkeeper's arms, but and El Mohammadi's thrown his arms as if to say, why didn't you pass it to him? And that is Kaja, isn't it? He does things like that. Even in the season when he scored nearly 20 goals, he was still doing things like that. And I think that's just his game. He's at 28, 29 now. I'd imagine that side of his game probably isn't going to improve. Now it's come this far, 28, 29 years of age. It's a frustration with him. He's undoubtedly a good footballer. He still just doesn't look right to me. Kaja, he's had a lot of injuries and not played many games. Many competitive games in the last year or so, and he just doesn't look quite there at the moment. But we'll need him. Mm-hmm. We need him to be back to what the Kaja he was when we first bought him.
There's talk of Middlesbrough potentially making a late run for him. Do you see any real truth in that?
I don't know. All our players seem to be getting linked with Middlesbrough, don't they? Dome has been linked with a few teams today, and I think Middlesbrough's one of them. I mean, I found him quite frustrating.
Yes. Last
night as well, Adoma. He kind of a bit of a carry on from the latter part of last season.
Yeah.
But it's just, and this isn't just levelled at Adoma. This is something that annoys me about Villa. A lot of the time, we just seem to go out wide, head down, cross the ball in the box. There's one player in the box, it gets dealt with by the defender. We do that a lot of aimless crossing, and I find that a real source of frustration. I'm sure Kaja probably does in the box as well, and a lot of people lurking on the edge. It smacks of not knowing what to do and just humping it in the box, and we do that a lot, and we did it a lot last night.
Yeah, we did
as well. I mean, we scored when we actually ran at teams and tried to play cute last passes. That was where we got the goals from. So I don't know why we persist with trying to do that. It's almost a lack of imagination at times.
Yeah, well, El Mohammadi broke the deadlock, didn't he? And almost immediately before El Mohammadi scored, Chris Dolan, one certain Chris Dolan, was calling for the substitution, wasn't he? He was waving the red flag. Get El Mohammadi.
He wanted Green on, didn't he?
He wanted Andre Green. As to be fair, as did a lot of people, I think. A lot of people wanted to see Andre Green, and we'll come on to it about why Andre Green maybe didn't start from the off. But good to highlight that Chris Dolan doesn't always get it right.
No, quite often. I mean, let's face it, we've all got our crosses to bear, haven't we? With things like, I mean, you've not talked about for the first goal when we went 1-0 down in the WhatsApp group when Dolan said, "Oh, we all know what happens now."
Oh, yeah. Again, positivity.
A grumpy text from Dolan, we all know what happens now. Which, to be fair, not many times we do get back into a game when we go behind. This is the new Villa this season. Maybe it's a new trait.
I feel like we've done that more.
No.
Didn't we not do that more at the end of last season as well? We got back...
Sheffield Wednesday, we did it. We only did it about twice all season, really? I think. We came from behind to win a game.
Yeah.
We did it twice last season, so we were only one away from that stat
equaling
already.
That record.
This season. But yeah, Dolan... Why is El Mohammadi being left on? And then literally 2 minutes later, El Mohammadi scores his first goal for the club.
Well taken finish.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, I think him and Hudson's finishes were quite similar. I thought the keeper was quite slow.
Yes.
To react to them. And they're good finishes, and they've good composure from Hutton and El Mohammadi, because they don't often find themselves in those kind of situations, primarily both of them playing at fullback, but they didn't lose their head when they got through on goal, did they? They took to away. I mean, you'd have had to put money on 3 goal scorers in that game, other than Neil Taylor and the goalkeeper. I think those 3 would have been quite high up on the list of people who aren't going to score.
Yeah, it was particularly Hutton, who... I mean, it felt like he was just taking touch after touch after touch, and yet seemed to get his way through. Started with a nice little 1-2, if I remember, and then he's kind of bundled his way through, and he's hit across Ben Marshall there. And yeah, I think Marshall, again, probably should narrow the angle a little bit more.
You call him Ben Marshall? What's David?
I think Ben Marshall used to play for Cambridge United in goal.
He's playing for someone. I feel like I've watched him play this weekend.
Who, Ben
Marshall? Yeah, I can't remember who he plays for, but I'm sure I've watched him play.
Okay. Good. Well, David Marshall didn't do very much better than Ben, did he?
No.
Could have done with Ben.
Neither good goalkeeper.
No. But yeah, struck across. Maybe the angle should have been narrowed. But you've got to be in those positions. You've got to take those chances. And I mean, I don't think anybody's getting particularly carried away with last night's performance. No. But you've got to win those games, and on another day, like you say, we go 1-0 down and we struggle and we get back to 1-1 maybe, but a 3-1, if you just look at the result, looks convincing.
I always look at it and think, did we win that game last season? No. So we're 2 points up on what we were last season. That's how I usually look at fixtures. So that's pleasing. I mean, I remember that game last season was absolute dross.
Yeah, it was.
And we were lucky to draw 0-0. So it's a great result. Winning on the first day is just so important, because then suddenly if we grab a win at home next week, and we're usually very good at home, with 6 points from 6 and everything's positive, players coming in, hopefully players staying, and suddenly we're in a good place. It's imperative to get off to that good start, because that's something we didn't do last week, and it's something that ultimately cost us.
Now you've
last year, sorry, not last week.
On Twitter, you mentioned a potential tattoo option.
Well, I suddenly started getting a load of tweets saying, "Oh, you've got to get an Alan Hudson tattoo now." I was like, have I? I was like, I don't remember saying that. I remember saying the first season in the Championship, if he scored a goal, I'd get him on the back of my shirt. The next season, he didn't score. I remember saying on the playoff final, if he scored, I would get a tattoo. That was the playoff final, though. He was a game late with his goal. But I am a good sport, so I've said it's not going to happen, is it? But if somehow Alan Hutton gets hold of it and demands a tattoo, I'll do it.
Try and get him at Wigan.
I'm a man of my word.
Yeah.
I'll do it. If Alan Hutton demands it, I'll do it.
Jack Hurley says, does anyone at Villa deserve a goal more than Hutton?
Probably not. No. He's not a regular goal, so that's his second goal in 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So he's certainly not a regular goal scorer. And I said about Kaja, like saying his awareness probably isn't going to get better. Now he's reached 28, 29, but Alan Hutton's game's getting better as he gets older. He's very positive coming forward. When he gets the ball, he does try and come forward, which is something I think a lot of our players lack at times, that bit of penetration. When he gets the ball, he does drive forward and try and make something happen. I mean, obviously he's not the most naturally creative of footballers, but he caused turmoil in the whole back line last night. It's almost like they didn't know what to do when he was bulldozing into the box.
He almost caused turmoil in the crowd as well. We saw
Pat Tolley.
Saw Pat Tolley, friend of the show.
It really is.
And she was loving life, hugging Hutton and giving it all the big in her tie.
Great picture. When I saw that, I think I actually laughed out loud.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
I mean, am I wrong in thinking she's at work? Should she be more professional?
No, I don't think so.
Or were you allowed to watch the game in her role?
Yeah, I think you are, because she does the buses, right? So she gets the fans there.
It's more stewarding.
She gets but she stewards at home. I think. I think you can watch the game.
You've listened more to what she said when we met her at the playoff.
That might be wrong, Pat. You can tell us, but I think once you get everybody to the ground and then you get them back again, I think the 90 minutes is your own. Although you can't get on the sauce.
I mean, she loves Alan Hutton, to be fair. She's a big advocate of Alan Hutton. I think she ranks her 3 favourite ever Villa players as Sid Cowans, which I would imagine fits into a lot of people, James Milner and Alan Hutton.
So you do listen?
Yeah, I listen to that part. I'm just not sure of job roles, specific job roles, responsibilities. I'm not sure, but do let us know. But I'm sure she will let us know. She's probably not happy we spoke about it, to be fair. She shies away from the fame, except for last night when Alan scored.
So I thought I'd just expand a little bit on my pub experience. I went into a terrible East Croydon pub last night just to watch the game. And
you don't have Sky anymore.
Don't have Sky. Got rid of it.
You could have come around and watched it in my time. If you'd have wanted.
Well, you didn't invite me.
And then we could have done a podcast afterwards and you'd return home late.
You didn't invite me, did you?
No, but I forgot that you don't have Sky now. I forget that when you don't work for Sky, it's very expensive.
Yeah, next time. And there was one guy in the pub. Well, one guy, I tweeted about it, who was about to leave because the game was terrible, and then a bird walked in and he was like, then he immediately ordered a double Bacardi, which I thought was quite funny. Got nowhere.
Did she walk in on her own?
Yeah.
Oh, savvy.
He asked a couple of questions. She kind of gave
really studied this.
One-word answers. He downed his Bacardi and went.
Part of me is feeling like this was you.
That wasn't me. But the other guy that came in, and a lovely old man called Ralph, he was very quiet, very quietly spoken, was sitting there studiously watching the game. And I was like,
thinking, what is this, Russ?
Seems a nice game. And we struck up a conversation, me and Ralph. And at one point he just went, there's just no artistry in this. And I was just like, Ralph, you're so right. He's so wise. And then I thought I'd carry that on, and we were talking about Hutton. I was like, I think he's the Scottish Cafu, obviously joking. And he looked at me, deadpan, and just went, I think you might be right. And so I kind of questioned Ralph's knowledge.
No, how old was he?
70, 75.
I mean, he's having a football conversation with you, so he's probably always going to come off as the top dog.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
The most knowledgeable in that conversation.
No doubt about that. But I thought no artistry. I thought that summed it up perfectly.
That's a good word. I mean, I sound like we've been really like negative and ungrateful. Obviously, I'm really glad we went any win away from home. I mean, any win's a good win, but a 3-1 win away from home is not to be sniffed at, really. And we did create some chances. Connor had a free kick that hit the bar. He put one over. He should have done a bit better with.
That Hurahan free kick was lovely, actually. Very,
was
very
a good
unlucky.
free kick.
Keeper was rooted to the spot.
Yeah, I thought when Hepburn, Murphy, and Green were on, we had a bit more penetration about us. Obviously, Hull have got to chase the game a little bit then, so it turns into a different kind of football match. But I thought Hepburn Murphy was lively when he came on. I thought he made a difference.
Absolutely. A couple of questions on the team selection. Max Wilkins asked about it. Thinks that Green should have started from the off, and Matt Collins as well asks low creativity and that the side should be better going forward rather than just setting up to defend. What did you think of the
I don't think
starting
we set up
11?
to defend. I think you look at the team on paper and you think, well, that is a bit defensive, because we all obviously think about Mohammadi as a fullback now, because that's where he played majority of last season. So he's playing right midfield. Green's had a good pre-season. You do kind of think you'd like to see him start. Mm-hmm. So I remember thinking the same on the first day last season.
That was disappointing.
I'd have liked to have seen Green. But ultimately, Bruce has got it right. You can't criticise. He's picked a winning team and managed the game well.
Yeah, he has, but it's against Hull. I think that's really important to remember, that if we had started off against maybe Brentford or a better side,
we've got to cut out. We had a few sleepy moments. Even Chester is usually absolutely flawless. I thought he looked a little bit shaky. Him and Elphick together. At times, I think they're too similar. I think Twanzebe long term. I think that's one of the questions that someone's asked. I think Twanzebe long term will come in next to Chester. Also, Chester's playing on the left, whereas he's played the whole of last season on the right. I don't think he's as comfortable there. I think he can play there, but I don't think he's as comfortable. I mean, fans obviously don't like Neil Taylor, so they're probably not happy to see him at left back. I mean, one of the things I thought was a bit strange. Gary Gardner was on the bench, wasn't he? And you just thought he probably hasn't got much. I like Gary Gardner. I've got nothing against him, but you wouldn't think he has much of a future. You'd probably rather see a Jake Doyle-Hayes on the bench, give him a bit of experience, considering we thought we were going to have to be relying on youth and stuff this season. For them not to be in that 18 doesn't bode well for the academy players, I wouldn't say.
Hasn't that always been the mark against Bruce? He's kind of talked a good game about bringing in the young players, and actually when push comes to shove, he just hasn't done it. And that it felt a bit like that with Green's omission again last night.
I mean, Green hasn't started a league game for a long time, but he's going to have to start some at some point, isn't he? He's going to have to play him at some point. It felt like a good one to have him in.
Yeah.
Last night, it'd be interesting when Delat comes back what happens, because he was very good in pre-season. I feel sorry for James Bree. He needs a loan move. We need to get him out on loan as soon as possible, because he's just losing years of his development phase at the moment, just doing nothing, essentially. And when that happens with the player, it's hard to get them back on track. You'd imagine O'Hare will see some involvement this season, because Onama's not coming back, so it's kind of like he's the replacement in the squad from last season to him. But yeah, I'd have expected. I mean, I suppose Hepburn Murphy came on and made an impact, so Bruce can say that, but we're short up front, aren't we? I mean, he hasn't had much of a pre-season himself. You're right, it is something that is levelled at Bruce, but I found that strange.
Right. Rich Griffiths, who would you change for the Wigan game? He's suggesting bringing Green, Hepburn Murphy and Bjarnason. Would you I mean, let's think in a kind of hypothetical situation that everyone that played last night is available still. Do you change anything? Would you leave it the same?
I wouldn't think he'll change anything. It's a winning side, isn't it? If we had a midweek game, we'd maybe put Bjarnason in for Whelan. I mean, I think we're a better footballing side when Bjarnason plays, but I must say I thought Whelan had a very good game last night.
Yeah.
I thought defensively he was very solid and calmed us down a lot in certain situations. I think he gets a lot of flack that's completely undeserved, Whelan. I think he does his job very, very well. I just think he shouldn't be in the team every week, because his body at that age won't allow him to do it. And Bruce said himself he should have rotated more last season, so hopefully that's something we see. So maybe with that in mind, we will see a couple of changes. At home, I'd like to see us go for it a bit more and see Andre Green in there, maybe move Hutton to left back and move Elmo back.
Yeah.
Because we look like we're signing a left back, don't we? So it'd be interesting to see how much football Neil Taylor gets, because I don't think it'll be much if we do bring a left back in.
Yeah. Do you think Bjarnason's been hard done by a little bit? We've talked about the young players not getting a game, but Bjarnason obviously showed something last season, and yet still can't force his way into this team.
No, it's worth remembering he's come back later to pre-season, the most because of the World Cup, but then so is Al Mohammed.
Yeah, he shouldn't be penalised for being an international.
No, where was Jedinak? Because I would have thought he'd have been on the bench as a centre-back option.
Well, the talk is that Jedinak's on his way out, right?
Yeah, I'd imagine unless injured, he'd have been in the squad.
Yeah.
No one said anything about it today. There's been nothing come out today about it. I'd be surprised if we did let him go, because we're so short centre-back.
Yeah.
At the moment, he's the fourth centre-back, essentially. You need four centre-backs, unless someone like Mitchell Clark or Sullivan's going to take up that role this season. But I'd make that change, Green in for sure. That's what I'd do. Don't know about you.
Yeah, I would love to see Green play. I think you're exactly right. From being at home with the crowd behind you, I think that's exactly the right way to go. And yeah, it'd be exciting, like you say, again, to see a little bit more of Hepburn Murphy. I don't think he'll start, but to see him build in and become a regular feature, a bit like Keenan Davis. It'd be great to see him play more, and hopefully both of those lads can stay fit this season.
I mean, we'll sign a striker. It sounds like we're getting the young Man City striker whose name I can't pronounce, begins with N.
Yeah, you put it in the WhatsApp group. That hasn't made the notes, unfortunately.
It sounds like he was in the director's box last night on the Villa side, so it sounds like he may well be on his way, and he's got a good scoring record at the levels he's played at. It sounds like Hogan and Davis are going to be out for a while.
Right.
So Hepburn Murphy's going to be on the bench for the foreseeable, but then he struggles with injuries as well. Kaja struggled with injuries, so Andre Green only takes a couple of injuries and he's the centre forward. But it's probably worth mentioning on Saturday we'll have different players in. We'll have some more transfers, and potentially we'll have lost our star man.
Well, should we talk about transfers?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to bring up with the game? I thought the Villa fans sounded great last night. The KCOM looked half empty, and Hull fans clearly aren't buying what Adkins is selling just yet. I don't know if it's going to be a tough season for them, but
I think they'd be down there.
The fans definitely aren't keen on what's happening for the first game of the season. A home game looked very disappointing.
Doesn't help it being on a Monday night, to be honest. I think that took away from it being the opening game a little.
No, but still, if it's a home game, I don't know. Yeah, I don't disagree, but somebody's got to be Monday night, haven't they?
Well, not necessarily.
No, true, but the money speaks, Dan. The money speaks.
Talks,
let's talk about signings then. Axel Tuanzebe rejoins Villa for another year, well, a full year this time. Are we going to see him a little bit more at centre-back?
I'd have thought so, because we don't have any.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have many centre-backs, and John Terry's not there.
Does he come in for Elphick? Do you think he immediately replaces Elphick, or he's got to win that job?
I feel sorry for Elphick, because he hasn't had much joy since he's been here, and it would kind of epitomise his Villa career if he scores his first goal for the club and then the next game Tuanzebe comes in for him. But I just think Tuanzebe and Chester's a better partnership in terms of, I think they complement each other a little better. I mean, we'll be able to defend a little bit higher up if Tuanzebe's playing centre-back, because he's rapid, and obviously we defended a bit deeper last season with John Terry in there. So I think that will actually aid us coming forward. So I think it's a good signing from that point of view. He was someone I wanted us to have back, because I know he's a good player, and I know we didn't see anywhere near the best of him last season, mainly because of fitness and probably not playing in his proper position. He spent time at right back when he was playing left back when he was playing for us. But I think it's a smart signing. I think it's the kind of loan signing that's beneficial. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, agreed. We definitely need cover there, that's for certain, and he did show promise. Again, he's just another one of these players that I really hope can stay fit, because if he doesn't, and we have a bit of a spate of injuries, as teams are prone to do in the Championship with so many games, we could see ourselves in a little bit of trouble.
Seems to be a pattern with young players and injuries, doesn't it? We've got Davis injured, looking a bad one. Hepburn Murphy's pretty much been injured ever since he signed a contract. O'Hare picked up a bad injury towards the end of the season. Green's been nothing but injured. So it seems to be like a trait of the younger player.
They don't make them like they used to.
They really don't, Tom.
Yeah, no.
They'd sign some experience like me and you.
That's true.
Get some experience like me or you in there, and I'm sure I'd break down after 1 minute of my first game with some form of knee injury.
There was talk of me signing, wasn't there, when we were really in trouble? I did offer myself. Nobody came calling.
Decent player. You were a decent player back in your day, but I think your day's gone now.
29
You've
years
let yourself
old.
Go.
Yeah, I definitely have.
Yeah, you really let yourself go. Marriage has been comfortable for you.
It has.
Well, I imagine having a kid's going to make it worse.
Oh, much worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep setting myself resolutions, and like each week it's like get to the gym. And this week is a write-off, but Monday I'm in.
Don't believe you. And we won't be able to talk about it because you're not here.
I'm not
next
here.
week. Yeah, me and Dolan in the booth next week.
Coming up for the Wigan game, and then I'm not able to talk about it.
Peak Julian. Absolute peak Julian.
All right, another signing that Villa have made this week, Orjan Nyland.
And I made that about half an hour before the podcast comes into record.
Finally, we get a signing before the podcast.
We've done well. The stars have aligned.
So the 27-year-old Norwegian joins a very busy goalkeeping corps. We've already got Jed Steer, Morea, Mark Bunn, Sarkic, and now we're adding Nyland as well for about £1 million from Ingolstadt. Where does he fit in?
I mean, in goal. I don't think he's going to play anywhere else.
Oh, really? We might put him in the back four.
Goalkeeper's the new right back.
Yeah.
We couldn't get enough of right backs last season, but I think he's coming to be number one. We saved that number one shirt, I'm presuming, for a reason, and it's hard on Steer. And I mean, Morea wasn't even on the bench last night, was he? It was Bunn.
Yeah.
It was a sub-keeper. So
that's a question, actually. Yeah.
I'm unsure of the goalkeeping pecking order here. Steer didn't do much wrong last night. He's a good shot stopper, Steer. Good reactions.
I can't believe that Nyland comes in and takes the jersey on Saturday. Sorry.
I'd imagine it'll be Steer again on Saturday. Give Nyland some. Are you sure you're pronouncing that right? By the way,
Nyland.
Yeah, right? Not Nyland.
I'm not sure.
Okay,
you've thrown me
because Villa did a hashtag of Love Nyland, like Love Island.
Oh, really?
Earlier, yeah.
Nyland sounds right. Sounds Norwegian. We actually have pal Ben Dixon.
You love saying that name. You get his name in every week. Any way
he's
you can.
Norwegian.
No, I know, but it's just funny how you get his name in every week.
Pal, if you could.
You love saying it. Like rolls off your tongue perfectly, and every time you say it, you have a silly little smirk on your face. Like you really enjoyed yourself.
All right. So does Sarkic go on loan at this point?
Yes, absolutely.
He has to.
Yeah.
What's the role for Mark Bunn? Casho 76. Will Bunn be let go? 5 keepers is a bit much. And M Long Cincy also asks what we do with them all.
I don't know. Steve could suddenly find him. He started the season and suddenly find himself third choice. I mean, Steve Bruce implied that all the goalkeepers that we've had have struggled with injuries. Talking about Steer and Bunn, I don't remember Bunn having too many.
The toes
or injuries. I mean, his toes are a massive issue in his life. I'm sure. I mean, he's an attractive man. The toes is probably the worst thing about him. I wish I looked like Mark Bunn, to be fair. The ladies love him and dresses very well as well. But enough about Mark Bunn's fashion. I'd imagine he'd be off, but I'm not sure where to. A loan maybe towards the end of August. Maybe if someone needs a keeper in League One, maybe another Championship team might fancy someone who's a dependable backup. I just don't know. I mean, for Morea not even to be in the 18 last night, I thought was a bit strange.
Ian Parry said, "Is Bruce making a statement by not putting Morea in the starting 11? He wants his signings in the squad."
I mean, he doesn't smack it as a Bruce signing, does he?
No.
Morea, I mean, he's not played much football in his career at all, Morea, so it might be just a case of being patient with him until he's involved. But it almost seems a bit pointless if we've signed this other goalkeeper. But then Nyland doesn't strike me particularly as a Bruce signing either.
You're going with Nyland, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going just because of the Villa hashtag.
Yeah. Ingolstadt, Bundesliga 2, it's not a top outfit. Is he? I mean, I have not seen any of him. Is he good enough for the Championship to walk straight in?
He's Norwegian international. He comes with a bit of pedigree, I think. I think he's got a decent reputation.
Okay.
I like a Scandinavian player as well.
Yeah, I saw you tweet John Carew.
Sits well with me.
Yeah.
When the Scandinavians, we think of Melberg.
Are you trying to make that a thing now?
Yeah, I do.
You've embraced it now.
It's the new Marlon. I just mention it every week. Even like when we had Ronnie Johnson. When he had him for a couple of seasons, I thought he was very good.
Yeah.
When he's there, so I feel like Villa always do better when they've got a Scandinavian in the side.
That's your rationale.
Melberg, Larsson, Carew.
It will be very hard on Steer if he comes in and just takes the job. You seem to be a little bit more open to that happening.
I just think, what's the point of signing him if he's not going to play?
I totally agree.
And we've spent money on him. I know it's not much, but we've spent money, and financial fair play tightening its grip.
Financial fair play, I'm going to put my hands up now, and I kind of made a bit of a spiel about it a couple of weeks ago. I have no idea what Villa's plan is with financial fair play at this point. We seem to be going after players, not particularly expensive, mind you, but, I mean, we'll talk about Grealish in a minute, but if Grealish goes, then all of these kind of make sense. If he doesn't go, then I have literally no idea what's going on.
I've got to admit, I put it down when we started being linked with players. When I heard that we were between 4 and 6 million in for Joe Bryan, the Bristol City left back, I thought, that says to me Grealish is off.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest, because that's a fair amount, 4 to 6 million. isn't it, for us to be spending with financial fair play? Although I've been told that there's like a business plan in place and that the Football League have accepted the business plan, so we won't be doing anything untoward at the moment. The owners will know what they can and can't spend, so they obviously know that the Grealish deal hasn't gone through as of yet and that they could end up with him still there. So they're not chucking money around willy-nilly, are they? You'd think that the money's there at the moment to be spent regardless of Grealish.
Well, so the other players that we're linked with at the moment are Joe Bryan, like you mentioned, Bristol City left-back, and John McGinn, the Hibernian midfielder. Presumably, those deals will only get done if Grealish goes through.
Well, then you'd say that the Nyland deal wouldn't have gone through.
Nyland is $1 million.
But McGinn's apparently only 2 million, isn't it?
2.5, yeah.
Yeah, so he's only got a year left on his contract, I think.
Right.
McGinn.
Interesting. Let's talk about McGinn for a second. Celtic supposedly interested in him.
I think they thought that he was coming.
Yeah, played over 100 games for Hibs and 9, I think, for Scotland as well.
9 caps.
Which is interesting. So great that we can attract a player that Celtic want, because obviously Celtic is Champions League football. It's you're going to win a title inevitably, and hopefully McGinn's going to do good things for Villa, because I mean, again, I haven't seen a whole lot of him.
I can't say I know much about him.
I won't pretend that I have, but
I have got some notes on him though.
Go on,
if you want to hear. I just stole a couple of things off Twitter that Villa fans said Hibs fans had sent them. So this says here, if John McGinn signs for Villa for $4 million, it's a steal, although I understand the fees half that.
Maybe add-ons.
Yeah. The boy is the real deal and one of the best players to come out of Scotland in many years. If he played in the Championship or Old Firm, his price tag would be nearer 10 to 15 million. His dynamism, professionalism and attitude epitomises the boy. He will go far in the game. Villa is the perfect type of club. Hope John helps propel this sleeping giant back to the Premier League where it belongs, and to where I think John belongs eventually. Good luck and best wishes, Super John McGinn. P.S. Look out for him using his backside to turn his back to the game and roll his marker and drive the team forward. Oh. Petrov was very good at doing that.
Yeah.
Using his big backside to shield the ball and get on the turn. There's another one here as well. This is again a text someone's received. I think it was Villa Views.
Okay.
Not to be confused with the Villa View. Villa Views on Twitter got sent this saying you want John McGinn, known as Super John McGinn. He brings the value of 4 players to a team. Power, ball winner, 100% fight, total bottle, then ability to keep the ball, drive the ball forward, assist, score. He'll win you the league.
Wow.
I'm gutted to lose him. I'd rather he left for a free next summer.
Interesting.
Now, that reminds me of.
Go on.
I remember when we signed. Well, we were being linked with signing Connor from Barnes. Then I remember looking at his statistics for that season. His stats were made him by far the best player in the Championship that season, and it said he could do a bit of everything in central midfield. So it reminds me of that stuff I'm hearing there.
Stuart on Twitter says McGinn is a stronger player than Grealish. Thinks Steven Gerrard, but with a fatter derriere.
Not a talk of his derriere.
Yeah. And Gino says the players are similar. There's some similarities with Grealish there as well. So positives.
He's left-footed.
By all accounts, his grandfather was former Celtic chairman and president of the Scottish FA.
I mean, this is where you really come into your own with facts like that.
Started at St Mirren, where both his brothers played as well. So a footballing heritage, or pedigree, I should say.
Well, heritage as well.
Yeah.
Both work.
Okay, good. Nice. Ed Adams, would you sign, if you had the chance, Albrighton on a season-long loan?
Yes.
Yeah?
Because we're very short out wide.
Yeah.
But I don't think Leicester will make him available. They've lost Mahrez, who was playing out wide for them. I'd be very surprised if they let Albrighton go. They've just signed a wide player, haven't they, from Monaco?
Brought in a couple of players, yeah.
I think he'd come back probably if he had the chance for a season. He's spotted quite a lot at Villa Park.
Yeah.
When Leicester aren't playing in the crowd, he's back quite a lot. And I think he may even still live local. I'm not sure of that fact, but I'd take him back for sure because I think we definitely need some wide players.
Yeah. Mikael Morris poses a hypothetical question. Would you take a lower fee for Grealish if you could have him back on loan this year, or just take a higher fee, wipe out financial fair play, but you never see him in a Villa shirt again?
I'd love to know what the magic number is for financial fair play that we have to get, because no one really knows.
No, absolutely not.
It's somewhere between 10 and 40 million. I've read various different things. It's somewhere between.
It also goes down to an independent panel as well. So I think there is room for scope. And like you say, if there's a business plan and Villa are showing that they're becoming financial competent. I think it's a bit like GDPR. You have to show that you're trying to get there rather than actually being there.
Yeah. I mean, you've confused me with GD. They're big time. I'm not sure what that is, but let's carry on.
Yeah, forget it.
We spoke about this a little bit before we came to record. I really don't know, because say you do loan him back for a season and you go up, you then got to give him back.
Yeah.
And Tottenham aren't going to spend the kind of money that we want just to loan him back. There's no way they'd do that. They'd wait till he's got a year on his contract and come in at 10, 15 million, surely, especially someone as tight as Daniel Levy. He's not going to just chuck money at us and then give him back. I know it's a hypothetical question, but I don't know. No, probably not.
Take the cash.
I don't want him to go. I think this will be I'm never ever going to slate him, because I think he's got a tough decision to make here, and I think there's definitely reasons you can think, I can see why he'd take that move, regardless of him being a Villa fan. But I think this transfer will hit me hard. It'll be the worst. I've been hit hard before, as I've said in previous podcasts, but this would be the worst one, because I think with the new owners coming in and they're going, and the power of youth and things like that, Grealish is someone to completely build that around a local Villa fan, a very talented footballer, and it'd just be a real shame to lose him. I mean, at the current time of the podcast, we don't really know what's going on. I mean, Daniel Levy is notorious for wanting to spend as little money as possible, but then he chucked 35 million at Moussa Sissoko a few deadline days ago, didn't he? And that was a massive statement of intent money-wise for probably not much reward. So I just wish, if I was Villa now, I'd just say, look, one last chance, put up or shut up, because this has been rumbling on all summer. You can't rate him that highly if you're not gonna pay the money that we want.
Do you think
they want him, pay it? Do
you think they were waiting to see the game last night, or do you think it's just...
they wouldn't have learned anything about Grealish last night.
No, they wouldn't have. I agree with you, and they will have. Obviously, football clubs are professional bodies. They're going to do their due diligence. They're not just going to go on one player. Although I do remember Liverpool going after Salif Diao after one World Cup. But
and El Hadji
and Mila Barros as well, I think, got a couple of moves after...
remember after Euro 96, Karel Boborski and Jordi Cruyff.
Yeah.
Went to Man U, basically. Patrick Berger went to Liverpool as well, basically, off Euro 96, but scouting was a lot different then. A lot different.
My point is, do you think this is going to rumble on until the last hours?
I hope not. I really just want it sorted.
Especially for Villa, if they do need the money to start then making the Brian moves or the McGinn moves.
Like I say, I don't think that comes into it. Really, my initial thought was, he must be going because of that. But I think they'd know he's a savvy businessman, that that deal with Jack might not go through. So at that point, the money's spent. So I think they must. I don't think it will bank on that. I really don't. I've seen some pretty horrible things said about Grealish on social media that I completely disagree with. People having a right pop at him, saying he's a Villa fan, he shouldn't want to go. And I get why people would think that, but we were talking a little bit, and you do only get one career. And obviously I love Aston Villa. I'm a massive Villa fan. I like to think if I was a footballer, which God help us if I was, there'd be all sorts going on, that I'd stay at Villa for the rest of my career. But you got to think how talented he is, and it's not like when people like Gareth Barry left and Ashley Young Milner, where we were a good side, top 6 Premier League side, and people left. But there's no guarantees we're going to go up this season. In fact, it's far from guarantees. I think Chester came out and said you can't blame him. He shouldn't get hammered if he wants to go, and I think I agree with that, because I'm a Villa fan. I've become very fond of Jack Grealish as well, and I want to see him achieve his potential in his career. And is Villa the actual place to do that, hand on heart? I'm not sure that it is. He could go to Spurs. He'd be playing in what will be the best stadium in the country, the new Spurs ground, playing under one of the brightest young managers in the game in Pochettino, playing with good, young, vibrant English players. He moves to Spurs. He's straight in the England squad, giving him a chance of going to the Euros
financially,
in 2 years' time. Financially tripling his wages, I would imagine. He's immediately in the Champions League, which is where all footballers want to play. I mean, Spurs were in a group with Real Madrid last season, so in 3-4 months' time, he could be thinking to himself, I could be playing at the Bernabeu. And people say, he'd go there and he's not going to get games, but he's too good not to get games. As soon as he's there, he's got another 3 or 4 gears to go up as well. I think he's the most naturally talented young footballer in in the country. I think it's just not been seen. And I think about his time at Villa, and he does owe Villa a lot. But in some ways, we've wasted having him. We've been even that first year in the Championship, he was sat on the bench, and people like Bakuna were playing the season before we were in the Premier League, and admittedly he had a couple of off the field mistakes that he made, but that's life. But we just weren't playing him, and it stalled his career. It took last season to finally build the team around him. I'm playing with the phone because I've got something on there I want to read.
Well, then read it. Don't keep playing with your phone. I've had to take this away.
I'm being confiscated.
This is unbelievable.
Things are being confiscated. And he was running rings around Liverpool in 2015, and then he never really kicked on from there. And I think that's because Aston Villa's been a horrific place to grow up as a footballer. And if he leaves, it doesn't mean he loves Aston Villa any less. He's just a very good footballer that's got the chance to do anything he likes in his career. There'll be people that will pan him, and there'll be people that will pan me for saying this, but I won't be getting on his back if he goes, because I can completely understand. I think he'd quite happily stay. Also, if Villa accept an offer, that's Villa saying, we're ready for you to go. And the opportunities that would be there for him in his life and his career at Spurs, I think it's worlds away from where we are at the moment. It's almost like the right player for Villa at the wrong time. Now, I think he's too good for us. And he didn't have the best game last night. I imagine it was a difficult situation for him last night, knowing it could be his last game for his boyhood club. I mean, he gets fouled 6 or 7 times, badly, again every game. And I just think I'll defend him to the hilt, whatever he does.
I think that may have been the longest monologue of a Villa View podcast so far.
Yeah.
That was you pouring out your heart.
Did you agree with anything I said?
No, do you know what? I agree with it all. I mean,
That's
apart
good.
from you playing with your phone and
I was doing that for a
playing
reason, just to make sure I'm just making sure now I didn't miss
keep
anything.
dropping it though. That's an annoying
me
thing.
chucking it around like
Yeah,
an
I know.
idiot.
So what do you want to read? Go on, carry on.
I think I've pretty much said everything I wanted to say. I said he's still got things he can work on in his game. He should definitely score more goals because he's such a talent. But I think it's a difficult one because obviously I want him to stay. I'd love him to be a Villa player forever. I just don't think that's realistic with the talent that he has. And as I say, I think he's got gears to go up. Yeah. And you'd see that at Spurs playing with better players. I
mean, we've talked about it, I think, on this podcast, and lots of Villa fans have. I think it was either Lee Hendry or Keith Andrews on the coverage last night who said that there are touches of Gascoigne about the way he plays.
Definitely agree.
And you see the creativity that he plays with, and obviously Gascoigne at Spurs, Grealish at Spurs. There's links there. I just hope that that Pochettino wants him, because if Pochettino wants him, he'll get his chance. If it's a signing for signing's sake, or Levy likes him, then Pochettino might not buy in. But Grealish needs. You've said there that he will get game time. Sometimes great players don't, and sometimes the fit isn't right. But Grealish has to play because he's too good not to play. And so I really hope that if he does end up at Spurs, I wish him all the best, because I think you're right. I think there's 2 or 3 levels of football that he can go on and do well at. But I just hope he gets that opportunity to do it.
I'd imagine he'd know whether he was a Pochettino signing or not, and he'll get certain guarantees. I'd imagine that's what would happen. He wouldn't get into the team immediately. First few weeks, first month, I imagine you'd see him from the bench. But he's too good not to play, and they'll soon realise that at Spurs. I don't think people realise how good he is.
Yeah, but it also depends on other people's form and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's lots of factors. There's lots of reasons why some players don't pan out at certain clubs or whatever. But I totally agree with you. And if he does end up going, and we're sitting here, or you're sitting here with Dolan next week, and he's not a Villa player, then I will wish him all the best.
I do not want him to go. After everything I've said, I do not want him to go. But I love Aston Villa Football Club, but we hardly play fluid football, do we?
But we certainly didn't last night.
Look at the football that Spurs play, and he would absolutely revel in that. He's got just the right amount of swagger about him. I think he's settled down completely off the pitch, and he'll make the most important thing is he needs to make the right decision for him. If he wants to stay at Villa, stay at Villa. If he gets the chance and he wants to go, and he feels that will propel his career, then he goes with my blessing. He put a lot into last season and trying to get us up. As I say, he isn't a Championship footballer. He's a Premier League footballer, and he spent 2 seasons down in the Championship with Villa now.
Right, that's your ode to Grealish over.
Oh, this brings a tear to my eye. I'm sure I'm going to get panned for what I've just said, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
No one else has to agree with it. That's just how I feel.
Going from hero to potentially zero, then Villa Mad asks about. He's not the zero.
You need to be careful.
Villa Mad, apologies if that's the way you took it. He asked a question of Ross McCormack and why is he not even in the squad? We're paying him huge amounts of money. We haven't heard anything about him. The Villa have been very quiet on him. We don't see him on the bench. I mean, he's not even training, I don't think, with the first team a lot of the time. So where is he?
I don't know.
And does he ever fit back into this team? And why?
No.
Where's the money going? It's just a terrible contract.
His bank account.
Just a terrible contract.
2 years, hasn't it?
Is that you just draw a line under it and go, look, he's playing, and that's.
I mean, it was not the first time we've had our pants pulled down, really, is it?
No.
There's a reason why, for all the people that slate Agbonlahor and Richards last season, there's a reason why they're allowed to train with the first team and Ross McCormack isn't. He makes the dressing room toxic by the sounds of it. So I think it's the right decision not to have him anywhere near it. Like people, as I say, people slag off Gabby and Richards, but they're not being there and causing trouble. They would get by all accounts, they were getting on with it last season, and I hear they were a very good influence in the dressing room towards the end of the season. And I'm not saying it's right them picking up the money for doing nothing either, because it isn't, but these players are paid, have signed a contract, they've been given this money. Villa have agreed to pay that money over a certain amount of time. So as I say, we've had our pants pulled down many a time, but if getting McCormack back involved is going to come at the expense of completely disrupting the dressing room, then there's no point doing it.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, apart from being in the dressing room, I don't think there's much more you can say. I don't know what he's done or how he's annoyed Bruce or whatever, but he's obviously done something, you're right, that's keeping him away, and it doesn't look like there's going to be any return for Ross McCormack. If he was in any state to be involved, he would be, and was showing the right attitude, he'd be involved, because Bruce has shown that he will give people a chance with the way that he handled Gabba when he first came in, so I'm sure it would be the same for Ross McCormack. It's one thing about Bruce, like him or not, he's a good man manager. Players like him. Yeah. So there's obviously something going on. True. Shout out to Brett Leader, who sent a picture of his Sunday lunch in. Last week he asked us to pick a lamb roast or a bangers and mash. I went for the roast, you went for the bangers. Yeah. And he went for bangers. He did. And it looked excellent, to be fair. You were disappointed with the peas. I don't like peas. I think it stems from when I was young, my sister used to love peas. We used to have peas with everything. I had peas. And I didn't like them. Yeah. I was forced to eat them. So I used to have I remember I was allowed to have lemonade with my Sunday roast. So I'd eat 3 peas, chug the lemonade with the peas down and just force it down with lemonade. I probably did that for about 15 years. No, about 10 years probably I would have done that for. So I think I've got bad memories of peas. So when I see them, it upsets me. Lemonade just on Sundays? No, I think I'm pretty free with my fizzy drinks. Oh, yeah. Even now, not bored up properly. But yeah. That was what I used to do with peas. So on that note, Hoppo Ben asks your choice of curry, which I thought we'd chuck it in because, I love a curry. I mean, to be honest, I feel like I need a break after my Grealish monologue. Do you want me to have a go? A bit light-hearted. Favourite curry? I like to try different things. I try and have something different every time I go to the curry house. Yeah. I would say more so, I've got a regular curry house. Yeah. I save it for Sutton Coldfield, save it for when I'm in Birmingham. Do you? Go to the Cabba Beach because that is proper there. Right. It's proper. I'm staying in Birmingham tomorrow night, so go to the Cabba Beach in Sutton. Yeah. If you go there, a lot of them are Villa fans as well. I always get a good reception when I go there as well. So nice. I like it. If you wear your Steve Bruce polo. No, Steve, yeah, interesting. I got given this polo a few months ago from the Luke Roper store, and then Brucey turns up to the is it the KCOM? The KCOM, turns up to the KCOM wearing the same gear. Can I just say, the guy that's been lecturing me on fashion advice for the last year and a half takes his fashion tips from Steve Bruce. No, I did first. Steve Bruce takes his fashion tips from me. They've seen this on the Villa View video with the kids. For sure. Should we talk about the Villa View videos a little bit? Because a big fan's favourite made the comeback last week, didn't it? The old T-Brew. Oh, the T-Brew, yeah. T-Brew came back. Let me tell you, it is a nightmare to record. Is it? Yeah, it's something that you would love doing, but for me, I find it a pain. Now I've got to open the fridge again in the exact same way I did it on the one take all the way through, and put the camera in. I got to pick up the milk in the same way. Things like that. I find it tedious. Somebody questioned the soya milk. Almond milk. It was almond milk, yeah. We had. We're not Greeley. We're not tea drinkers in our house. Oh, I love a tea. The only thing I did enjoy writing the script Yeah.
I will say that, putting the little bits in with getting the rabbit involved. It's gone to Chester's head because he won't come near me since that video.
I like those kind of things. Jamie Wilden says he enjoyed the hello Marlon on the fridge.
Printed the Marlon. I will say he's still on the fridge at the moment. I said to Anne, should we leave this up on the fridge permanently? And she was like, no, but it's still there. Big Marlon's still on the fridge.
Darren Woolley says, love it, Dan. Enough info, just enough info. I might
There's
add.
not much good info in there.
With a bit of humour thrown in.
I try and be funny when I can. I do try and be funny. We'll talk about the mugs.
I don't think we answered Popeye Ben's curry question.
I did. I just said I don't really. You didn't. I answered.
No.
It. I moved on quickly.
I like a biryani.
We're going back to this, are we?
I make a good biryani.
Okay.
Yeah.
You make it yourself?
Yeah.
Never been invited around for dinner. So well, I wouldn't know. Maybe I'll be invited to Croydon for a biryani and a pint down the wheat sheaf or wherever
the windmill.
Wherever it was you were.
You don't want to go in the windmill. Me and Ralph. That's the only good thing about the windmill.
I'd like to see this, Ralph.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
Nice guy. He'd spent the weekend in Eastbourne.
Oh, God, yeah.
We got into it.
I bet he walked in and he saw you and he thought he's going to be a guy that's going to like the same kind of things as me. A 70-year-old man. This guy's going to love a chat.
Right.
Mugs.
Yes, thank you to everybody that bought the initial 50. They sold out in about an hour.
Ridiculous, by the way.
Which is incredible. Obviously, Dan Rolinson put up a video explaining kind of why we're doing it, what we're doing. I think most of you got that. Obviously, you don't have to buy a mug if you don't want to. The Villa View is staying free for everybody, but it is they're £10 a mug. The £10 isn't for the mug. It's for...
Isn't it £1 postage and packaging as well?
Oh, yeah, £1 or £6 if you're coming from abroad. But yeah, the mugs aren't the it's just a little fundraiser, but if you want a mug...
Not the point of it, it's just a little souvenir to say thank you for giving us money, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just donations, you get a little mug as well. So there's going to be 50 more on sale from tomorrow, from today when you can see this, so midday. Wednesday at midday, and we should get the whole batch ordered, the whole batch coming in today as well, right? Wednesday.
So basically, if you order one of these, new 50 that come in, they're all being sent out at the same time as the last 50.
So they'll be sent out at the end of this week, essentially.
There's a lot of disappointment at people not being able to get a mug because they did sell out. I thought they'd sell out on the day, and everyone was like, no.
Yeah.
No way, Dan. You're wrong. And I was like, no, I'm right.
Yeah, and you were right.
I know it's mugs.
You told us about 3 times that you were right.
I took a lot of credit afterwards.
So Wednesday, 12 p.m. If you do want a mug, there's going to be another 50, and we'll see how well they sell. And obviously, if there's demand, then we'll go again. And thank you so much again to everybody that's bought one or wants to buy one or whatever.
So we started getting people saying you should do this, you should do that. Villa View pin badges have been mooted.
Yeah.
T-shirts.
The T-shirts thing is going to be funny if we do get it done because there's some fun designs coming in.
Yeah.
It sits well with me. The Dolan haircut. That
I just
kind
like
of
a
thing.
Dolan wig.
Yeah.
I'd like one of those.
So there's a few bits and pieces. If you haven't watched the whole mug video, it's up there to see. But it's basically to help us get a little bit more out of our content. We'll be able to afford.
We're making plans, aren't we?
Yeah, we want to do some more away days. We want to do a little bit more, maybe some more tea brews. We want to do some other videos.
That doesn't cost money.
No, but
just time.
But in terms of like, we can potentially then put some money towards training, learning. I'd like to learn a little bit more about the editing side, which takes the pressure off Dolan, off Rolo.
No, Dolan doesn't do any
editing. Yeah, Dolan does very little at this point. So yeah, the money goes back into the channel. It's not like we're siphoning it off. So that's that. And
sorry, carry on.
It's the same with the BetBull as well. You might have seen if you watched the preview. We've signed up with BetBull just for a couple of little videos.
To see how it goes, trial.
And to see how it goes. And some of you have said you're not particularly happy with that. That's absolutely fine. You're more than welcome to voice your opinion on that. But these are the reasons that we're doing it, because we want to improve the channel, get more content to you, essentially. That's the reason that we're exploring these avenues.
There's only so much you can do in the format that we've had until the last 2 years. There's not literally no further we can really take it. So, I mean, we spent a lot of this podcast slagging Dolan off. Do you want to slag Rollo off for a couple of minutes? How he managed to do an 11-minute video on why we were doing it, God knows.
Apparently he cut it down from 20 minutes as well.
How did he chat for 20 minutes? And also, I want to call him out for he was very pleased with his prediction being spot on.
Yeah.
First time ever. I'm sure I've called predictions right before, and I've never seen them clipped up on social media and put on there.
Yeah, well.
He clips one up, and there's one up there within half an hour of the game finishing, giving himself praise.
There you go.
Unbelievable. But I suppose if you are the editor, And a guy that does that kind of things, that's your prerogative. But
I mean, Ryla puts a lot of effort into this. He needs to reap the rewards every now and again. Should we do a couple of YouTube comments to finish?
Yeah, why not?
So, Cyberdon Blue, fantastic podcast. He very much enjoyed you messing up Barnsley on the predictions last week.
I did not enjoy that. It's very unlike me.
That was very, very funny. I enjoyed it.
I could tell you enjoyed it.
This is Cyberdon Blue.
Well, I'm going to say I could tell you you enjoyed it as well.
I absolutely wet myself laughing at the near orgasmic sounds oozing out of Tom when he called you out on that one. I mean, it's not often that the roles are reversed and I get to do that.
It's not often Tom has an orgasm.
No, that's true. Baby on the way, mate. Dave Baldwin, love the Villa View. You guys keep us so well informed. Can no longer go to as many games as I was like to previously, having been a season ticket holder for 14 years in his youth. He lives in Cheltenham now. Little fact for you from Dave.
I think it's just Cheltenham, not Cheltenham. But that's
what
fine.
did I say?
Cheltenham.
Sorry about that.
It's
okay. Boom G Bap. Great job, lads. Tom really does bear the brunt of Dan's cheeky ways, but makes for a good watch all the same. All the same.
That's a very kind way of describing the cheeky ways.
So with that said, cheers for having such bland taste in hair, Tom. Oh, I didn't read the whole of that before I started.
Looking as bland as ever. I think you've had a haircut as well.
I have had a haircut.
Jesus, you can barely tell.
Can you?
You've cut a little bit shorter on the sides.
That's what I like.
That's the only way I can tell. Like the top has not changed at all. Yeah. Do you think you'll ever change the hairstyle?
What's the point? Why change a winning team?
It's not a winning team. You should just try.
What shall I do? Tell me what I should do.
Maybe get it a bit shorter on the sides. Do you have it shaved at all on the sides?
Yeah, a little bit shorter on the sides and then enough to play with on top. That's what I was saying.
You don't play with it. You don't do anything with it. So essentially, that's pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my hair's not in a good state at the moment. I'm in that in-between phase. I think I'm just going to shave it again.
The grades are really coming thick and fast now.
Mate, I can't do anything about that.
No, you can't.
Nearly 33.
Just for men? Would you ever do it?
Yeah, I could do something about it, but I'm not going. I think it would take some really real heavy criticism to make me do that.
Jake Horton, cheers for reading my podcast out and reading my comment out.
You were all over the place in these comments.
This is so small.
Julia.
Gave me a chuckle listening to you discuss it. Audrey Lynch, great podcast as always.
I can almost sense the listeners falling away.
Well, let's get one to finish on here.
Your brightness is on about 10% as well. That's probably not helping.
Stephen Martin, very informative. Love a good tea brew. I think there's been a big call for the tea brew to continue.
Yeah, I find that unreal that people enjoy me just making a cup of tea in my kitchen so much. Someone slagged my kitchen off saying it was very small, but you try living in London, mate. This is very difficult to get anything of size.
A few people criticising the betting. Lord Wilson,
we've covered that.
100 Suns, those kind of people. That's absolutely fine. Adam Oliver, I think the 3-5-2 was for experience's purposes. Maybe when we're 1-0 down in a game, this change could push us and become more creative going forward. Do you think that's a plan?
Well, I think that might be the plan, but at the moment, as it stands, we've still not got the players to play that formation. I don't think so. Yeah. And
the last comment goes to James Rock. Dan Bardell, what the F are you wearing? You need some star tips from Tom J.
What was I wearing last week?
Who has better hair and better clothes.
Is that from the tea, bro?
You. I think it's from the preview.
Have you made a YouTube account under someone else's name?
James Rock.
That's your alter ego. I bet you went into the pub last night and you're like, I'm James Rock.
That's from the preview.
I can imagine you doing that.
Can you?
Having a different character in the pub.
I used to do that at uni, put on a different accent.
Yeah, do a few more buttons than normal instead of just going into the pub, having 3 pints of Doom Bar.
Oh, yes.
Completely different character in the pub. Yeah, I can imagine you doing that.
Yeah, that's me. Any more for any more?
No, I don't think so. I think we've covered everything. Obviously, Fancams will be back on Saturday. You're at the game. I might even let you do a couple of them.
Oh, thank you.
If you fancy.
I've got a booked train on the way back. But
am I going to be taking you home again?
Yeah,
actually, I won't be able to because I'm not going straight home.
Oh, well, then I definitely need to make my train.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it, though. In the North Stand again. I really enjoyed that when we went to the Middlesbrough game. It's the first time in there. So going back in there, which is good.
Yep. So, Fancams on Saturday in the usual spot. So hopefully see as many of you there as possible.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. I'm done.
Good.
Outro.
All yours.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for watching and listening to this podcast. I feel like I've laughed a lot tonight. Hopefully you at home have laughed as well, and we've managed to bring you some form of enjoyment for the last hour, because it's just gone over an hour now. If you're not already subscribed to the Villa View with your post notifications on, if you could do that, that would be absolutely smashing. We're not far off 12k. No, that'd be a good number. 12k feels like a good number to hit. 10k felt big, but 12k would be a good number to hit. Like the video if you're watching on YouTube, and if you are listening via iTunes, leave us some reviews, because we've had some nice reviews recently. We really enjoy reading the iTunes reviews. I don't know why, it just feels very satisfactory.
I think at the international break we'll go through a couple. Yeah,
we'll go through a few then, because there were some really cool ones, some really nice ones. So yeah, comment below with your thoughts going into Saturday, and comment with anything you disagree with or agree with in this podcast. Me and Dolan in the booth next week. I'll try and get a wig, if possible, to wear next to him, just for a little laugh. I probably won't do that, but yeah. Where are you going? Why aren't you here?
I'm going to Switzerland.
Again, you're always there.
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Because we've got a couple of games next week. We've got the Wigan game, and then it's Yeovil on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I go away on the Tuesday night. So
no, you're out.
The podcast had to be done, I think, on... Are you doing it on Monday? Is that right?
No, we're doing Wednesday.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, if Dolan does well, you may not see Tom for a few weeks, so make the most of his face now in this last 30 seconds or so. Thanks ever so much for watching. It's been a good one. Cheers. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.